For centuries, people have been obsessed with finding the Holy Grail, some secret key to guaranteed success. Well, what if I told you that in the world of investing, something like that actually exists? Today, we're going to break it all down. Let me ask you something. Is your portfolio a time bomb? It's a question that probably keeps a lot of investors up at night, right? You see those crazy market swings, and this little voice in your head starts whispering, could everything I've worked for just poof, disappear? And that's where the stress comes from, isn't it? The anxiety of trying to be a genius, trying to perfectly time the market. You throw all your money on one hot stock, crossing your fingers it'll just skyrocket. But let's be real, that boom or bust strategy, it's just a super stressful, high-stakes gamble. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, can predict every single swing of the market. But what if there was a better way? Well, there is. And it's championed by none other than the legendary investor Ray Dalio. I mean, this guy has successfully navigated decades of economic ups and downs, and his number one rule is so simple, it's brilliant. It's the core idea behind a much smarter and way less stressful way to build wealth. Okay, the fancy term for it is systematic diversification. Sounds kind of complicated, I know, but the idea behind it couldn't be simpler. Spread your money out. Seriously, that's it. Instead of making one huge risky bet, you're making a bunch of smaller, smarter ones across all kinds of different assets and industries. The goal here isn't to hit some crazy home run, it's to build a portfolio that's tough enough to thrive in any kind of market. So that's the big idea. But you're probably asking, why? Why is this so powerful? Great question. Let's actually dig into the mechanics of how spreading your capital around acts like a shield against those huge, scary losses. Okay, just picture this for a second. On one side, you've got the concentrated portfolio. You've put all your eggs in one basket. Maybe it's all in tech stocks. If the tech sector takes a nosedive, guess what? Your entire portfolio goes down with it. Ouch. But on the other side, you've got a diversified portfolio. You've spread those eggs out. So yeah, maybe some of your investments are struggling, but they're being balanced out by others that are holding steady or even doing great. Let's put some numbers to this. Check this out. Imagine your tech stocks are down a whopping 15%. That really stings. But at the exact same time, your investments in consumer staples, the companies that sell stuff we all need no matter what, like toothpaste and toilet paper, they're up 5%. See how that works? One cushions the blow from the other. It's this beautiful balancing act that keeps your whole portfolio from just sinking. Okay, so the why makes a ton of sense, right? It's powerful, it lowers your risk, I get it. But now for the big question, how do you actually do this? How do you go from, yeah, that sounds smart, to building a real diversified portfolio with your own money? Well, it's actually not as complicated as you might think. It really boils down to 3 simple steps. Step 1, mix your assets. You want a good variety of stuff, different types of stocks, bonds, maybe other things too, across a bunch of different sectors. Step 2, use low-cost index funds. Look, you don't have to be a stock-picking wizard. An easy way to do this is with something like an S&P 500 ETF. You buy one thing, and boom, you're instantly diversified. And finally, step 3, rebalance regularly. This just means checking in maybe once or twice a year and tweaking things to make sure your allocation is still on track. So what does this actually look like? Well, a classic starting point you hear about is maybe a 70-30 split. 70% in stocks, 30% in bonds. But, and this is super, super important, that's just an example. There is no magic one-size-fits-all formula here. The right mix for you depends entirely on, well, you. And to figure out your perfect mix, you've got to ask yourself some honest questions, like, what are my long-term goals here? Am I saving for a house in 5 years or for retirement in 30? How much risk am I really comfortable with? How much cash do I need to keep on hand? Answering these things for yourself, that's the key to building a portfolio that's actually designed for your life. And this brings us to a really crucial point. This whole strategy isn't something you just set up once and then forget about for the rest of your life. Think of it more like a living, breathing thing that adapts and changes right along with you as your life changes. I can almost guarantee your ideal portfolio today is not going to be your ideal portfolio 20 years from now. You can see this so clearly when you look at different stages of life. When you're young, you've got time on your side, right? Decades even. So you can take on more risk, maybe have more stocks, to really go for that long-term growth. But as you get closer to retirement, whoa, the game changes. Your main goal becomes protecting the money you've worked so hard to save. You start to take risk off the table because you just don't have the same amount of time to recover from a big drop. The strategy adapts, it's designed to. So, this really leaves us with one last big question to think about. Is your portfolio built for every season, or is it just built for the summer? I mean, look, investing when the market is booming, that's the easy part. It's summer. Anyone can feel like a genius when everything's going up. But the real test, the true test of any strategy is whether it can handle the inevitable storms. Can it get through the autumn and the winter? So ask yourself, is your portfolio ready for any weather, or is it built only for the sunshine?